to scale, you cannot be everywhere. You need to have a team that you can build and trust. So as you're starting a business or you're growing a business, you need to invest in the people. Those are the people that are going to build your business. You cannot do it yourself. No matter how much you love your business, there are people, you need people. And so invest in those people, value the people, no matter what they look like or their experience or their qualifications. Value them, build them, train them. Do bookkeeping, accounts. When you're going to raise money, when you need money for your business, everyone is going to ask you for audited accounts. It doesn't seem like a thing when you're starting out. Why should I even have audited accounts? I make money, that's all you need to know. Okay, fine, but then what's your profit? You don't really know. So I would encourage anyone here who is in this entrepreneurial journey, love systems, love books. You might not know everything about accounts, but hire an accountant, hire somebody who can come and do it for you. If you don't know the systems, ask, what system can I use, can I buy? It might seem expensive to buy a system, but I'm telling you that system will save you a lot of headache. So I'm sure we can talk about this. Get me at the end of this session. I'm happy to share more, but those are just a few things that
I've been told to ask. It might be obvious that Endiro is Wetulira, but what does Endiro mean? What was the premise behind the name? Before we close, what was the premise behind the name?
So Endiro, in my language, is a basket, a millet basket. So we eat food, millet is served in an Endiro basket. So people come around the basket, they eat, they enjoy food. So Endiro is really a place, it's symbolic of coming together around the table, eating together, having a good meal, having a good time. So we want that anybody who comes to Endiro really feels, gets that experience.
I've been I'm looking at the time, and unfortunately we started late, so I'm trying to redeem time so we can at least get the next panel on and have those conversations, and then leave a round of questions and engagement for after that, just so that we don't, take room for the other conversations. But there was a separation principle there. You said the business made money, but it was my money. And sometimes, is it the business's money or your money? I know you start the business, but the money isn't yours. It's the business's money. So
it's the business.
Yeah, so separation principle. I don't know if people like Lucy, who's you're the creator. Is it your money or the brand's money?
It's the business's money.
So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, round of applause for my panelists. Yes, unfortunately I'm not able to give you chance for the Q&A for now. I know I'd promised this would be a very engaging session, but I'm going to have to let my panelists go and also leave room. Sorry, Rachel, the mic has to settle for now. We're trying to redeem time so that everything can happen today. So if I'm correct, we're supposed to have Helena Mayanja to come and have a conversation with the next panel. So first, a round of applause as my panelists vacate, and we will circle back to this conversation. You give the round of applause until we leave the stage, so that we feel like we gave you a lot of value. Yes? Oh, sorry. Yes, you please come and direct that. They want a very stunning picture. As Helena will assist to. I see chairman, which means that's a big thank you coming up. So thank you, chairman and vice. Please do assist. ATS, did we come with a bit of vibes of music? Something. We are young people, Thank you so much for sharing. Ricky Rapper Thompson, co-founder of Safe Border. We have Gloria Katsimeth, CEO of Enduro Coffee. Patrick Mbonye, a CEO of Q Sourcing Surftech Group. And of course, Lucy Bunyonyezi as well, who is talking about initiative, walking around Kampala, and a general work or business of content creation. This panel was talking about starting a business. You've been more than equipped on how to start, whether you have something, whether you have people, and how to definitely manage the people that you've started with, the little you've started with, or just in Gloria's instance, the passion and the purpose you've started with. I see Helena in the room, which is our cue to now walk away. In the interest of time, we're going to drive this as quickly and as fast as possible. Round of applause once again for my panel. so much. Right? Team, one big one. I don't know what that means, but they want one big one. All right, one group photo. Yes, I think that's what they mean. Team on photography, please help to direct that so we can catch up with time. Thank you so much. All right. If my moderator for the next panel can please assist so we run through time as quickly as possible. You'll be able to give us those introductions once you're here.
For the next session, we are having a panel featuring quite a few enterprising business women, beautiful, driven, and quite inspirational. You should listen to their stories. And here to take us to that session, we have Miss Helena Mayanja. Helena, if you could take the stage, please. We'll invite your team as well to join us here on stage. So for that panel, we have Anita Beryl, a fashion designer. Please take the stage.
Yes, walk carefully. It's about, I learned today, it's walking with love. You don't walk alone. You know how we are as ladies, we have to color coordinate, make sure we are matching, what? Some of us are off, but it's all good. Okay, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Helena Mayanja. I serve as the Head of Corporate Affairs and Sustainability at DFCU Bank. I am really honored and privileged to be speaking to these titans of industry. We have ladies here who are among the top taxpayers in Uganda. When I say, yes, when I say top taxpayers, I'm not talking about female entrepreneur top taxpayers. No. I'm talking about top taxpayers, period. We have ladies here who are paying it forward and teaching other people how to do business. They're skilling up other people, and they've been doing this for years and years. We have people here who have been part of the DNA of Ugandan entertainment. We have people here, we have people here who have been able to mix sustainability within the work they do, and that is passionate for me. We have people here who have showcased Uganda on the Oscars. Imagine. Yes, a round of applause, please, with energy. So I'll ask them to introduce themselves and give us their journey. So I'll start with Mariam.
Thank you, Helena. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mariam Dagire. I am very many things you might think of in the entertainment industry. But lately, I term myself as an entertainment entrepreneur. I make money out of entertainment. I started out as a theater actress in school as a teenager. I was 15. and I went on to do commercial theater, and later started a theater company of my own with my colleagues, Katol Wama, Abem Chibi, Ashraf Sumogerere, and John Segawa. Then later I saw a gap of skilling young entertainers, people who loved to do entertainment but didn't know where to start, just like I was at 15. So I started the Mariam Dagiri Film and Performing Arts Center, and I am doing a good job at skilling people in the entertainment industry. Thank you.
Hi. Hi. Are we good? Awesome. My name is Georgette Ocheng Dawuchie, and I'm a co-founder and currently outgoing managing director of Wazi Vision. So Wazi was started about 7 years ago, and really why we started Wazi was to make eyewear more accessible and more affordable. And we realized that the way that we were able to do this was to design and manufacture it locally. And you know, the journey that led to this for me is a whole winding one, but just let me summarize it in a few minutes. So many years ago, ever since I was in P2, I'd always wanted to be a lawyer. And I thought to myself that if you didn't do law, then what would you do? Now, no offense to any other course here, but I honestly felt that. And many years passed, and I would go to law school, and I did finish law school, but at the tail end of my degree, I began to realize that there was just so much else that I wanted to do, something more impactful, something where I could see tangible results at, you know, the bottom of the pyramid, where a life would be changed and a life would be transformed. And it's that journey that led me to, you know, just seek God and ask him, God, what would you want me to do? And many years later, I would meet my co-founder. At the time, I was at the Innovation Village, who had started Wazi Vision, and she was able to, you know, take eyewear and eye care to places where people didn't even know that they had eye issues. People didn't even know that they needed glasses. You know, kids were failing their exams. They were going back home with bad reports because they couldn't see on the blackboard. And people didn't know that the issue was they just needed a pair of glasses. And while I resonated with that, and it resonated with, you know, my belief system, I decided to join my co-founder Brenda Katresije a year into Wazi Vision's founding, and 7 years later we've been able to ensure that over 6,000 people here in Uganda have gotten access to eye care and eyewear in places where ordinarily they wouldn't have.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Anita Beryl Ahichiriza, and I'm a fashion designer here in Uganda, and I am the creative director and founder of Beryl Couture, under the House of Beryl. I like to call it the House of Beryl now because over time I have added more fashion products to my brand, which is now no longer maybe just the Beryl Couture, but now the house is becoming a lot bigger, and I thank God for that. If I was able to get into my journey of getting here, it is pure miracle and a pure blessing. I promised myself today that I wouldn't get emotional, because each time you ask me about my journey, it gets very emotional for me. But I think that journey started very many years ago, probably as a young girl, and at that point I always insist that I didn't know what that was. But just like the way you would have 3 children at home, and one of them just loves pretty stuff, looking nice, looking different, obsessed with looking different, so you want to change a lot of stuff so you can be the same, very different from the other person. And if your mother bought 2 dresses that are the same and your friend at school has the same dress, you want to try and do something about your dress so you can have something different. I don't think at the point you can actually say, oh, I wanted to be a fashion designer then. I had no idea what that was. I just really wanted to be different. And growing up, what I actually know that I wanted to be was to read news on TV. And why? Because was that there was a Beatrice Okello, I think, or someone that was so gorgeous. She was so beautiful. And each time I went to my neighbors in the evening to see TV, because we didn't have one, I saw her and I was like, Mommy, what do you have to study to be that woman? And she told me what I needed to do was study English literature and all sorts of things, like so I can end up into like probably mass communication later. And quite frankly, no, I don't think anyone ever wanted me in my class in English and all these literatures, because I actually studied that. So later on, how I came into, I think, the arts world is I was really good at art, actually, like drawing, and that's cool. But also when I look back, I know that I loved the things that didn't need a lot of reading. You could never put me in a math class and you think I'm going to get anything. Really, I was so bad. And the other things that were so heavy were not for me. So why I think this was a blessing in disguise is that I gravitated towards things that were easier for me. If you give me a novel to read, I will read it in like probably a day. And if you give me an exam about that, of course I'll pass. If you give me cooking, anything to cook, I'll cook, of course, because I'm a firstborn at home. We cook every day. I know how to do that. If you tell me to sew something, are you kidding me? That shouldn't be anything, because whenever you're on holiday, we had packages to do of, you must, let's say, sew this, then you have grandmothers coming home, which is really hectic, having a grandmother at home, because she literally pinned us down, boy, girl, anybody. You need to sew things, and that was her skill. That was her way of giving you something. I didn't know what that meant at that point, but I appreciate it so much now, and too bad she's gone, so she really will never even wear one of my dresses. But it came from that. And when I later went to university, and which I think is one of the things that happened with all of us in the generation we have been in, we have had parents that have not been very open-minded about some of the things that are not, let's say, doctor, teacher. If you're not like in that low kind of arrangement, they don't understand the other things. And so it was not an option for me to come and tell my parents that I was going to be, please, even study fashion or anything. And I didn't want to bother them with that. I knew I couldn't do it. I couldn't really possibly come to them and tell them this is what I was going to do. So I decided to go ahead. So I went to university and I studied Bachelor of Arts with Education, majoring in English and Literature. And I did my school practice and everything, and a lot, just like other people, I think, in my age group. As soon as I was done with that, I then got the blessing from my parents to join the fashion industry. And so at that was also not enough. I knew that while I was at campus, I did learn about the people that we had in the industry at the time that were really doing so great, and that was Sliviori, and that was Santa, and so I learned from them. I realized that this was something I could turn into a proper career. So I'm trying to rush through everything because we could spend days doing that. But once I was done with my bachelor's, then I officially went to fashion school. I studied, I panicked, and I started. And 15 years later, okay, 15 next year, but I'm already counting the 15th year. 15 years later, here I am with one of the biggest brands in the country and international now. And I'm super proud. I couldn't thank God anymore for what this is. And that's me.
All right, that was so handy. Thank you. I thought I had put it on. Good morning. I'm trying to look at the time. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Donna Masolo. I'm a married Christian mother of 5 holder of a BCom degree and a Master in Business Administration, founder and CEO of 6 companies that provide employment to 499 people in different sectors of the economy that I will talk about. The first company is Malaika Vocational and Business Institute, Sparkle Salon, Amal Cosmetics, Trinity Construction Company, Elgona Farm, and Tukule Foundation. My journey in business started with a dream to just put food on the table for my mother and siblings, because we had lost my father during the Luero War Triangle. I never know how to pronounce that thing because it made me lose the most precious person in my life and get it right. But fast forward, my father was a breadwinner and my mother was a housewife. I was a little child and then we lost him. We became very poor, and as I went through my education journey, all I ever wanted to see was my family have enough food, clothing, and a decent life. When I joined the corporate world, that was still my dream. And I worked so hard. You know, poor children work so hard. I worked so hard for that I excelled in the corporate world. I was working with an international oil company and got an award in the best performing employee in Africa and Pakistan region. The thing about promotion is that sometimes it can take you out of balance. So I had a husband in Uganda and a child at the time. Now I have 5. All that fame, I was going to be transferred to head a department in Cape Town, which I didn't want because, as you know, African husbands are not easy to move around. So I had to choose between my marriage, my child, and my career. So I found myself, at the time I thought I was downgrading to business, but it was a promotion actually. So the first business that I founded then was Sparkle Salon, and that is why most of you know me for that. And it was founded just to make sure that we continue to have food at the village level. Because yes, I was married, and I was married to a well-to-do husband, so food was no longer a problem on my table and for my children, but I had too many poor relatives that I did not foresee myself continuously looking up to my husband's pocket to fund the multiple programs that I had in my clan. So I continue to focus and work very hard so that at any one time I can provide for those people that I was meant to provide for. So that was the journey with Sparkle Salon. I quickly got frustrated with the quality of workers that were in the industry, and I founded Malaika Vocational and Business Institute, which trains people in hands-on skills in various fields. Construction industry, that is your plumbing, that is your carpentry, that is your welding, that is your electrical, that is your tiling, that is your painting, that is your everything in the construction industry. Then of course the cosmetics industry, cosmetology industry, because I know, Elena, you're running out of time, right? You can die. So Malaika was training the hands-on people, the tailors, the caterers, you know, and initially I did it to solve my own problem because like you heard, I'm also in the construction industry, and I was being frustrated with the various skilled people in that place, and so I wanted to just solve my own problem. Then one day, because some of the people that come to train, vocational training institutes are people that have failed to go to universities, and they think they have the problem I had when I lost my dad. So they are trying to make it in life. So one day, this girl came to me and told me a story of how I had sponsored her and how eventually she had started a fashion house, and she was teaching school uniforms and was paying school fees for her siblings, and had built a house for her mother and had transformed her life. I decided to now scale, to look for businesses that I can scale, educate more people, and involve more people in society. And that's how I now went for agriculture, because it's 80% putting food on people's tables. So in that area, we not only educate farmers and improve on their farming methods, we also do aggregation and create employment in the various value chains up to processing. I will not talk in detail about the other companies to save Helena a heartbreak, but that is us. And we are hoping, I am one of those people that avoid publicity and avoid being in front of others. But when they told me it's about the youth, it's about the people that are starting out in business, I felt like, okay, this is my time to give back to society. Let me show up and let me be here.
Thank you very much, Donna. Sophie, please.
Hello. Hi everyone. My name is Sophie. Unlike my friends here, for me it's my first time to kind of sit here. Just know I've cancelled this thing like 5 times. I cannot sit there. I cannot, I'm not that person. When I panic, just know that, it's one of those things you can't do, It's not my thing, so I'll just to be brief. My name is Sophie Nantongo. I'm in business, and I've been in business for some time. My first business, and I think that's why I was invited here, though I have like several, it's called African Queen. It's a distribution company, which I started. I dropped out of school when I was 16. I got pregnant, I got away from school, and then at 17 I had a baby, and I was like, I was poor, like real poor, like very, very poor. I started working, I had $150 on my savings from my parents, and I started going to Nairobi on the bus, buying stock from Kenya to the bus, here, sell, go back, and I did it for some time, and it's been, a very good journey. It's a very successful company. I do distribution, and I'm in real estate as well, and other businesses. So for me, what I can tell the youth who want to kind of do business or be entrepreneurs would be that my only advice is just be consistent, because my business has grown from $100 from Chikugo downtown to now we have our premises are in Namamve. African Queen, it's #1 distribution company in Uganda. It's been like voted. I've been voted twice, I think, Women Entrepreneur of the Year. It's been like in the best taxpayers, in the best 20 taxpayers in the country. I don't know, I think I employ over 1,500 people, Ugandans, and yeah, I work with them, I try to train them, and yeah, I think I think that's it. I've done so well, isn't it?
Thank you very much, Sophie. You have done splendidly.
Thank you.
For a first time, you have done incredibly well.
Just so you know that Sophie is the one who encouraged me to go in real estate. I used to fear loans. You know, like taking $1 million, I would be struggling and shaking. Then she told me, you can take 5. You can, you can pay it. So she has underestimated her.
She really has.
her value
She really
in
has.
business,
I mean, you can't be one of Uganda's top taxpayers and she's there being timid, like, but she's actually a formidable force.
Come on.
Now, Sophie has, like she stated, directly, she is employing over 1,500. That's more people than is in this room right now.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So people can either make or break your organization, your company, your business, especially when you're just starting out. So Sophie, could you just share with us some of the gems and tricks you have had over the years of how to deal with people? Because people can either make or break your organization, your company.
Yeah, with the African Queen, people touch money all the time. Like, you sell, at any given time, someone is touching money. There's no way you can avoid that. But I was so lucky. I think God was so good to me. He gave me good people. Most of the people I started with when I was starting business, they are the same people I'm still working with. Or, it's coming to 30 years or something. They are still, they are still, I value people. I love them. For me, my employees, they are my people, the people I work with, they are family, because I spend most of my time with them. So they end up being my friends, my family, and all that. And also, I trade them what I know, and I listen to them as well. I listen to them a lot, and they've supported me. I can never ever forget that. But we are all human. You just put yourself in their shoes. Whenever you're doing something, just put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and then yeah. But if you get good people and you train them well and support them, and have faith and confidence in them, that you get results.
There was a young entrepreneur in the room earlier who said he does everything, be it go to URA to pay taxes, go to, pay for electricity. He does I think it was Blair. Is Blair still in the room? Yes. Have I quoted you? Am I correct? You asked these questions earlier, right? I took notes. So what advice would you give to people like Blair?
My advice to Blair is you can't do it all. Like with African Queen, I have now a private equity on board. There's no way you can attract like private equity, just anything. Like, you cannot do it alone. For me, I don't think I work. I'm not busy with all the businesses I have. I'm not busy. I'm not. I delegate most of the work. Yeah, that's
I love
it.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Mariam, I would like to change gears a bit.
Okay.
How have you successfully marketed yourself, and what opportunities do you see, especially for female entrepreneurs in the different industries that they are in?
It's about resilience. It's about being consistent. Be there, do what you're doing all the time. Ensure that people know that you are doing that, because the entertainment business has a bit that is called show business. Show the people that with time they'll attach you to what you're doing and trust you. That is how I've got some of the biggest projects that I've done, because of my consistency. When they look at the industry, they see me. When they look at yeah, when they look at the industry, they see me.
It's true.
Yes.
When you walked into the room, the people who were seated next to me were like, I know her, I know her, I know. So it is true.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'll move to Georgette. How have you, so the way I first heard of Wazi was from somebody who doesn't even live in Uganda. Like, you have managed to be known more outside of Uganda than in Uganda. You have really marketed yourself externally. For people who want to scale and be known East Africa, Africa, earlier the speakers were telling us about ensuring that you know what is important to the other countries that are around us and what can be sold to them. How can you market yourself to them? How do you market yourself outside of this place that most people know you externally rather than even internally?
Ooh. Helena, that's such a good question. And you know, when I think about that question, to be honest, 7 years ago, and if you will, just allow me attribute that particular strategic thinking to Brenda, my co-founder. So when I joined Brenda, she had started to have conversations with particularly people in Europe and North America. One of the key things that we learned when we're starting Wazi was to tell a good story. All right, we all love to hear good stories. We love to hear why something was started. We love to hear the heartbeat of the thing, because people connect with stories. As human beings, we are very relational, so we connect with stories. And perhaps in my introduction I didn't mention this, but just allow me mention this even now. So at the beginning of Wazi, we started out with recycling plastic waste. And because there was so much waste, plastic bottles everywhere, you know, a lot of waste lying on the ground, and we thought to ourselves, listen, what would it take to provide people with eye care and eyewear at a price they can afford with trash that people are throwing away? So what happened is we repurposed PET bottles, HDPE. PET bottles are your mineral water bottles, your plastic bottles. Your HDPE is your basins and your buckets. What would we take to get that waste and transform it, repurpose it, and make somebody see, give somebody vision, give them clarity of vision, you know? And so what happened then is that we began to tell that story, and that story resonated with people in Europe and North America. Were able to get partners from you know, City Foundation to UNCDF to, I beg your pardon, USADF, I beg your pardon, to you know, UK Aid, to iLions. I can mention so many of them. Were able to get into key publications like Forbes, were able to get onto CNN, were able to get, you know, onto Bloomberg, and all these really important international publications that gave us a lot of visibility. But the reason that we're able to is because we're able to tell our story, the Ugandan story. And each and every one of you that is seated in this room, you have a story, you have your why. You know, as I was listening to these beautiful ladies telling their why, you know, everybody, each and every one of them had something that pushed them to start that story. You have a story, tell that story, and the world is listening.
I think just to go further on that point, yes, everybody has a story,
Yeah.
but not everybody feels, I might be speaking for myself, but not everybody feels that
Yeah.
they can just be on Forbes. What are the tips, tricks, ideas that you can share?
Yeah.
How did you get onto Forbes?
Yeah.
You got into say, like, what steps were taken?
Like, what did we do? Like, please give us the juice.
Yeah.
Okay, here is the juice. So one of the key things that you really need to master is just partnerships and relationships, strategic key relationships. You know, people often say, tell me your network, and I'll show you your net worth. All right, and so we just began to have key partnerships, you know, building relationships. There are some relationships we've built over 7 years, and every time there is a conference, every time there's an opportunity to speak, every time there's an opportunity to pitch before key investors, that relationship will say, Brenda, Georgette, I want you guys to be in the room. I remember, and please allow me to tell this story, Helena, because I think it will embody what we did. I remember smack in the middle of COVID, were fundraising X amount of thousands of dollars because we wanted to bring in machinery. Now, when I mentioned about the recycling, we used to use the injection molding machinery at Makerere University. We didn't own it. We used to rent time on the machine to produce the glasses. And so we reached a point where that was not sustainable anymore because we had done that part to, just get the products out there, piloting, if you will. And so we needed to get to a point where we owned our own machines so that it's sustainable, it's profitable, we're able to hire, we're able to train, and all these other extra things. And smack in the middle of COVID, now if you've perhaps fundraised, or maybe you're seated out there and you're wondering, okay, how do you even begin to fundraise? Now, fundraising, as you know, when COVID closed down, all these conferences, all these opportunities to go and meet potential investors, all of them just shut down. And the only thing that you could use was your Zoom platform or your Google Meet. And smack in the middle of COVID, we got onto, and we had been fundraising and we had been pushing, but we had just been hitting so many blocks. I remember I packed my car, my co-founder packed her car. We literally had absolutely nothing. And then COVID struck. And at the time, one of our partners, like I said, these are relationships you build over time. They just mentioned our name in a particular room, and then we got ourselves on a Zoom call with Clinton Health Initiative Access and a couple of, Peak Vision and a couple of, big international agencies. Now, unbeknown to us, we were actually doing an interview. We didn't know. And so they asked us these questions about WASI, what we had done, how many people we had provided, these glasses to, how far we had gone, how deep, and all these data and statistics. But we didn't know that they were setting us up for what was going to be one of our biggest funds to date. And many months later, we get onto this, program, and we are given, in the middle of COVID, I tell you, in 2021, people were downsizing, people were, closing shop. We were hiring. And I'll tell you that is because if you don't build relationships, if you're not credible, let your word be your word, okay? Be transparent, be credible. Let your name, the Bible says, and allow me quote the Bible here in Proverbs, that a good name is better than riches. I can attest to that you may think, okay, if I get $50,000 or $1 million and then I do this and do that, I'll tell you something, $1 million is a lot of money, but compared to a good name, it's not a lot of money. Because where that $1 million came from, you could get over $1 billion. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Georgette. Ladies and gentlemen, networking is important. You don't know where your destiny helpers are. That's what I heard from that. So, Donna, I'd like to come to you on challenges. Earlier, we had, there was a poll taken in the room about, there were very few people who had had businesses for over 10 years, another number that had over 5 years, and then the majority was in the 3 and the 2 year space. What challenges have you gone, wait, you have had business, you've been in business for 15 years, right? 30, more than 30 years. So more than 30 years, which is, sorry, 20. I had 30, sorry. Oh, 30, okay. You've been in business for more than 20 years. And I'm sure that along the way, with your several different businesses, you have faced different challenges. Could you tell us some of those challenges you have faced, some of the common business mistakes that you have seen people make, and how you overcame them?
Thank you, Helena. Now, that question directed to somebody who had already had enough suffering in life is not very valid. There isn't any size of challenge that can make me cry that much. So different types of businesses face different challenges and are solved differently. But maybe the biggest thing to look at when you're in business, when you're starting a business and you want sustainability and you want to retain that business for the long haul so that you're not closing it down, start a business that benefits you but also benefits others. When a business benefits more than you, there's security around it. If your business benefits your employees, If your business benefits your clients, if your business benefits your ecosystem, you will be able to overcome any challenge that you find in that business. But maybe as a teacher now at Malaika and Vocational and Business Institute, most of the common business challenges that we see our students with, some of them are technical, but that is mainly for people who are not looking to scale. The ones that are looking to scale their businesses mainly have what they call business development services issues. Do you know how to hire the right people to run with your vision? Do you know how to calculate your taxes? Do you know how to market your business? Do you know how to carry your brand? Do you know how to relate with others? Those are mainly the challenges that retard businesses and they don't scale up. Because if what you know is good enough to attract money into your pocket, when you pass it on to others, you are able to have a group of people that can execute in the same way as you are, and you are able to scale. I don't know if I answered your question, but I told you, for me, there is no size of pain that can bring down my business.
You have, I think, in a roundabout way, you've told us that you've told us some of the issues. One of them was on the marketing side. I am a marketeer. So I will go to Anita on that, the younger, more sassy one of us. What emerging trends have you observed that are in the market now, especially for the youth entrepreneurs, the youthful entrepreneurs that are in the room? What emerging trends have you noticed that are on the market that could help them scale up their businesses?
Thank you.
Emerging trends, opportunities.
Thank you so much. I think usually when I speak from the fashion world, but I also know that it's the same really when it comes to business. It's a little bit. Is that okay? Okay, yeah. So I was saying that when I speak, usually I start from the fashion industry because that's exactly where I live. But I also know that business is business, and whenever I try to compare it, I realize that what I actually apply this side could also be taken into a different space, and it will also definitely work. When it comes to our side, I think that everything these days is going very digital, you know, like digital fashion, virtual reality, with the rise of like the metaverse and virtual environment. The digital world is becoming more and more popular now, and I think that the quicker and the faster our younger entrepreneurs jump on it and tap into it, the better for us. It is very easy, couldn't say easy really, but it's very possible for us now to have a product right now and have it out there into the world and even get to sell it before you even produce it, before you actually go into spending on production, actual production. I'll give you an example. When COVID was happening, I had my very first virtual fashion show. And that was because also we were not, we didn't have, okay, we were closed down, of course, and you're not working. And it was easier to just create something, put it out there in the world, you know, virtually, and you can have people look at it from the comfort of their homes or their offices or wherever it is they are. And this, I think, goes to any product really. Could be a bag, could be whatever it is that you want to sell or whatever business it is that you are in. And you're able to virtually sell this to somebody else without having, people now love comfort a lot. I want to sit here and I can open my phone, even the smallest gadget, and I can pick everything that I want to pick all over the place, and it finds me wherever it is that it. So I think that is very, very important. Doing business with, I would call it, let's say, inclusivity, like including a lot of people, different, you know, like would have places where, as if you're hiring, or even us in the fashion world, where you're hiring, you're looking at certain types of people. It's very important these days to be very inclusive with, let's say, different cultures, differently abled people. You want to include everyone, and this is actually an actual trend. Like, it actually sells you more. I also think that maybe it brings also blessings from God. But to try, and also in my world we have like now body positivity, to make sure that whenever we produce products, we're not just still sticking to the world where we used to be. Like, if you thought about fashion in the beginning, you were thinking about, oh, the model has got to be slim, skinny, never eaten, rice in their lives, and you forget that the actual world and the actual reality is that we're human beings, and we're also in Africa, we're carved. So in my world, it sells more now when you jump into it. And I think maybe something that could also work is personalization and customization, like trying to figure out a group of people that consume your business. I'm trying so hard to stay away from the fashion industry as well and be very general. A product that actually works specifically for a certain person. People love customizing things these days. People love feeling special and knowing that even if I sent for this beautiful cup of tea from, I don't know, let's say Java's, it's on my birthday, they remember, and there's my name on it. That extra thought that you put in something actually goes a very long way. So, I mean, aside from maybe also knowing that social media and influencer kind of usage has become really wide right now, and it's like the easy. So jumping onto like the social media platforms that can quickly sell, TikToks and Instagrams and Snapchats, like people actually doing business, and a lot of business in that. So maybe thinking a little bit better, and rather than go to TikTok to just go there with the purpose of actually putting your product out there and actually selling it, especially with the younger generation, because that's what captures them. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Anita. And I'll keep with you for your parting shots. I have been shot all sorts of bad looks for the time. So I'm keeping with you for your parting shots. What is the thing that you want everybody to walk out of here with today?
One, I think it is, from my own experience, I think that, and when I speak to the younger generation, so anyone who is like younger than me, do not underestimate yourself at any one given time. It does not matter where you come from, how much money you come from, what influence you have. If you wake up in the morning and decide that you're going to work on something and you want to be something, you can actually do it. It's very possible. It doesn't matter if you grow up in riches or nothing. And if you ever forget it, if you ever maybe feel like you're discouraged, like, oh my goodness, just think about me and look at me and know that you actually can. You don't have to come from privilege to actually be privileged. You can be the privilege that the next generation has. So don't do it. And also don't run to start huge. It's never that deep, guys. Start small. Master it, skill it. That way, when you get to a larger or a higher stage or a higher level, you can't be shaken. Donna can't be shaken because of what she has gone through. So when you start tiny and small, you build, your foundation is really strong, and you can't be shaken later. You are strong enough. So yes, we can do it no matter who we are, where we come from.
Thank you. Do not underestimate yourself. Start small, start strong, believe in yourself. So Donna, what advice would you have for young entrepreneurs seeking for financing to scale up their businesses?
For young entrepreneurs, no matter the stage of your business, if you're looking for funding to scale it, there's no one who is going to give you money if you are not innovative, if you don't have business records, if you don't have processes, if you don't have systems, if you don't have the right technology to support your business, the right infrastructure, and the right people. Because people who give out money are always wanting to be sure that you're stable, you can pay back their money, you can use it for the right purpose you borrowed it for. So, and the way to prove to them that, because they don't stay with you and they don't work in your company, is to make sure that even if you're a tomato seller, you try and create those things in your space so that you can be trusted with other people's money, and if you're innovative, so that people can want to buy into your company. But if you want to keep the company by yourself and you're looking, say, to banks or other lenders of money, records are a must, systems are a must, proof that you're stable and reliable and able to carry other people's money without losing it, to not run and buy a Range Rover because they gave you a loan and a new phone is very important. Otherwise, you become a very, very unstable business person that shuts down sooner than you get started. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donna. So focus on your focus. You borrowed the money for your business. You can't be buying a Range Rover, and yet the Range Rovers will come, but think of those later in life. Sophie, parting shots? Advice for the youth?
I think for me it's I'll just say what I've said. When I told you that I started my business with $150, it is true, and I had a child at 17, and I was trading in the bus, Akamba. I go like on a Sunday, I'm in Nairobi, Monday morning, I go to the factory, pick my stock, put my stock back into the bus. Tuesday morning, I'm back here, clear taxes and all that, take to Chikubo, sell it, myself, sell it, pick the money. Thursday, I'm in the bus again. Friday morning in Nairobi, picking stock from the factory, put it back. So I used to do like twice trips, back and forth to Nairobi. And I did it for some time. So why I'm telling you this is usually guys here I've spoken to, they are not consistent. They don't want the process. They think that things will just I've done a business for 1 month, now I'm not getting money, now I have to close. It's not like that. When I got my son, at one point, we didn't have food for some time, and I was like, those guys from Karamoja long time ago, like we're all like, we didn't have food, but I kept on, I had a baby, I have to go to the bus, I have to work, but I kept on doing the same thing. And I'll tell you, those days, having a child when you are in school, it was really taboo. So you couldn't go to anyone. No one wants you. No one wants to. Nobody wants you. I didn't have my mother. So, but I worked in the bus, back and flow. And by the time my son turned 4, I had money to take him to, by then it was called Lincoln International School, now it's called ISU, the American school. By the time he turned 4. So what I want to tell you is you just have to be consistent. You have to do the same thing again and again and again and again until you understand it. With my businesses, the beauty is I went to Nairobi, I bought cartons, I sold them in Chikubo, carrying them myself, selling myself. Now the company is grown, that African Queen, it has over about 500 employees. But I understand the process. I know when I speak to a loader in Chikubo, I know what he goes through. When I speak to a salesperson in the van, I know what he goes through to get the money from a customer. So it's always good to give yourself time. Don't panic, don't rush things. The process, it's like do it again and again and again until you master it. That's it.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Trust the process. Yes, it might take time, but trust the process and be consistent. That's what I got from that. Georgette, what advice would you give the young entrepreneurs in the room, especially those who want to go across the markets, not just Uganda? They want to market themselves in Kenya, they want to go to Tanzania, Rwanda, they want to go and beyond.
All over. Yeah, I often say, Helena, that Uganda is a launch pad, right? So it's so important for you to understand that you can start local, but you're living in a global world, which is local and global, right? So first things first, just understand that you're starting in Uganda, and without repeating what the other amazing ladies have said, just understanding your craft in Uganda and being able to tell your story to the global market. Now, you like I said earlier, you need to have partnerships, and this is something I wanted to mention, and I did mention, which is there are opportunities to join accelerator programs, and there are applications for these programs all over the world, in Europe, in North America, in South Africa, in Egypt, you know, going to key economies.
In Uganda with DFCU.
In Uganda with DFCU. Give it up for DFCU. Come on. Yeah. So there are opportunities through accelerator programs. I remember one of the accelerator programs that got us, that launched us to key relationships, was a program called F-Lane by Vodafone. And this was happening in Berlin. They would take you away for a couple of weeks, you know, sit you down, expose you, introduce you to people, and then launch you out with some, you know, money, some funds, and then expose you. So it's so important for you to apply. Now, you may get rejected once, twice, maybe even 100 times. We were rejected so many times, but I can assure you, you will get your break. And when you get your break, make the most out of it. You know, show up and show up at your best.
Show up and show out.
Show up and show out.
Thank you, Georgette. And finally, but absolutely not least, Mariam. I have known this lady for so many years. I used to, don't start counting ages. I used to work at DSTV, and she was one of the most popular people we had locally, who we used to export externally, like showcase on our TVs to ensure that we are putting Uganda on a global scale. So she has been at this game.
Well, what I have for you young people is, don't get comfortable. When you're good at your game, don't get comfortable. Try to diversify, try to reach for bigger goals. I started out as a theater person, then music found me, then I went into film. It was not because I was uncomfortable in music. I was very comfortable in music, but film has taken me to greater heights. I've been at international stages, being acknowledged because of film. I would have stayed at theater, but it wouldn't have taken me there. So don't get comfortable. Try to diversify, spread your wings so that you can get to higher levels. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So James have been dropped. I hope you picked them up, and these ladies will still be here for the Q&A session. But for now, thank you for paying attention.
Anyone who wants to become a pledge.
What fresh hell is this?
Well, you're looking at my type, but tell me, can you hit it?
In the meantime, the team on camera, I think ATS had advised you'd have a camera down to Lucy, if we can work on that. Are you okay with the Q&A? Yes? Should we have some questions and answer right now? Someone is like, yes, me. Okay, the hands are already up. So I know Rachel is over there at the end. Hold on.
That's right. No, it wasn't. Was it?
Okay, we will rove it. Innovation, they say. Okay, so we will have a Q&A. The first panel, unfortunately, most of them have, they had to, go to some other engagements. Lucy Bunyenyezi. Okay, so Helena is suggesting Lucy comes to this chair. Thank you, Helena. Round of applause for our fantastic moderator and also part of course, of our sponsorship team from DFCU. Where are the gentlemen? Banonki. Careful, careful. Okay. Lucy Bunyenyezi, aka Lucy Smiles, welcome back. I'm assuming you know the names of everybody as they do some engineering. Okay, so your question, please be very clear. Your name, who your question is directed to, and keep the question as brief as possible. And to give chance to everybody else, don't say, my first question, my third. No, no, no. One question. We have to be honest, because everybody has got to have a chance. We're going to give you enough time for that. So just to be clear, Rachel is over there. So for everybody on that end, Rachel will give mics, and then Cecilia is going to be on this end. So you have somebody already? Yes, your name, who your question is directed to, and hit straight. Go on.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nelisa Nantumbwe. I'm the founder of 28 Tours and Travel. I'm really, really inspired to the panelists. Thank you so much for inspiring us. We really, really look up to you. So my question, good thing we have female business people here. Kindly help me understand how you navigate doing business as a woman, because there is a definitely natural phenomenon as a woman that might limit you into doing some things. For example, Miss Donna, you said you're married, you have a child, then Miss Sophie says you said you have a child, but then you have to go to Nairobi. How do you navigate that and then you're successful? Because you want to do all these things, but guess what? There's this thing that is limited you. You're sick every month, for example. You have a child. There's these hormones that are raging. You want to, there's just a lot. So how do you navigate that? And then also understand the fact that, well, sometimes women are not welcome in some spaces by virtue of just being a woman. How do you really tussle it out with the men so that you get the success?
You did not mention any, so I'll leave that to their discretion. Let's have one more question before we bring it back to be answered. Oh, yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Owin Hakim. We make electric bicycles. I work with EB. So we are in the business of promoting zero emission mobility and reducing traffic congestion in Kampala by adopting cycling, electric cycling. My question, first question, goes to the chairman. Okay, one question. Yeah, chairman talked about preparing young people to be job ready in the industry. Most of these young people spend 3 years in the universities, get out with a piece of the degree, and they enter market force without being ready for any job. What's the purpose of universities in this country? Okay. And how can we ensure that technical schools that make young people work ready with technical skills be more pronounced and inspiring?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Chairman, you'll beg that we keep this question. Are you ready with that one? Okay. Well, so let's start. Anyone wanting to answer the first question as chairman gets his microphone, and then be ready for the next two questions.
Georgina, you're asking about how you can excel as a woman entrepreneur, yeah, with all the limitations that comes with being female. Our mantra is unlocking potential and defying limits. When I'm in a room full of men, I look at it as an advantage, not as a disadvantage, because they are more inclined to feel like I'm a weaker person and offer me more help. So you need to take advantage of your strength, and definitely. But well more so, it is very important to stop cooking pity parties about ourselves. And understand that we have huge potential. In the Bible, when God created Adam, he was a complete man and he had created the world and everything was good. But then he found it necessary to create a woman, and he called the woman a helper. A lot of things cannot happen in society without us. And we are so well positioned to change this world that the small things of menstruation periods and tiny things of how we shall not be recognized in a room full of men should just be one of the tiniest things that we consider on our path to success, and look at the big picture as mothers. And maybe what is very valid about being a woman entrepreneur is how then can you balance out being a wife, being a mother, being a boss, an entrepreneur, and making sure that you don't lose out on the progression of any of those things. As a woman entrepreneur, my goal is to work for the comfort of my family. So I don't leave them behind on my path to success. I try to make sure that I understand why I'm working, and I don't misunderstand myself and get lost in interpretation.
Yeah. Chairman, are you good to go? You see the problem of now asking my chairman to now speak. So we'll give a chance to chairman, and the next two questions will be ready.
Thank you very much for your question. First of all, I want to commend you because you managed to put a good plug in for your business. That's how entrepreneurs have to be. So your question was about readiness for the workplace. It's true, our universities do not prepare you for entrepreneurship. Yes, I did a business degree. It teaches you how to, the intricacies. Okay, accounting. It teaches you accounting, but it doesn't teach you how necessarily you should actually run your business. And this is part of what this is. Yes, this is another way of us being able to give you something different, give you a mentorship program. But also at PSFU we do have work readiness programs, like we said, and there are very many ways. But for entrepreneurs, you know, I liken entrepreneurs to doctors. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a doctor, and we went off to. We were very lucky. One of the old boys at my school was a surgeon, so we went off. He took us to a hospital where we saw him doing some operations, and of course after lunch we asked him, you know, what do you earn as a doctor? You know, the question finally came after many questions. So what do you earn as a doctor? Because he was very wealthy. So he drew a table and showed us your salary and the number of years you had to do. And unfortunately the scale was not very good, because doctors don't earn very much until they are about in their late 30s. Then suddenly, when they are consultants, they earn big money. And I liken entrepreneurship to that. Yes, you have to go through a lot of the downtime before you get to the uptime. Yes, so there's a lot of consistency. A lot of your lessons will be learnt on the streets, in the market. Yes, because the lessons that are out there for you to learn are not in many schools. Yeah, so experience is usually the best teacher, and it will take you some time, but you've heard these stories, you eventually get there. So be consistent, be dedicated.
Remember, the hashtag is Psfu Nextgen, and we're streaming as well on YouTube in case a friend of yours wants to know how to catch this conversation. Where are the microphones? Anybody who's got next? Yes, the next two questions.
Hi guys, my name is Mariam Nakatule. I'm not here to ask a question. But okay.
Rules of engagement.
Okay.
Please.
question goes to Nantongo, Miss Nantongo. I'm wondering how you can stay very humble and grounded, and you're not as smart as Miss Beryl. I'm going to apologize for that. But you are so rich, but you stay so humble and grounded. How do you do that?
Okay. Rachel, Cecilia, hold on. Yeah. We also need to know that anybody who has already had engagement on this microphone, Cecilia, I think we'd agree that. Let's not. So where are the next questions? Yes, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Namwebia Mariam. I'm a civil engineer. However, I'm passionate about business.
Okay.
I deal in rice. I buy rice from Tanzania.
No, okay. Is there a question before the advert?
Yeah.
Direct to the
My
question.
question is to Mrs. Nantongo.
Okay.
Is there any chance that I volunteer with you?
I like that. Oh, guys. But yes, wonderful. So I'm going to bring it in because we don't want to lose those questions. Ask a direct question so that we can actually impact. I told you in the beginning the right questions will give us that impact. Give somebody, oh great, go on.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for having us here. My name is Jerry Mukuru. I'm the CEO and founder of the Tafari Foundation.
Okay.
We empower youth through creativity and opportunity. My question to the panelists and our dear directors is, what role have you played in ensuring the efficient ecosystem of young entrepreneurs like me? I am a creative and I believe in creative expression. So my question is, how do you, who determines value for what we create, and what is your role in ensuring we have an efficient ecosystem? Thank you.
Georgette, I saw you nodding. Is that he makes sense, or I will answer?
He makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. I don't know where the mic is, so if you have it, just get up and talk. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Muganga Saul, Rihanna Diaries. My question goes to maybe Miss Nantongo about scaling. We, the young entrepreneurs, there is where we reach a point on scaling, and you need much capital to have certain things in place. And when you decide to go maybe to have a loan, you don't have that security to account for that loan. How do you people, like, apart from getting funds or grants, how do you do it to acquire that capital to move to that step? Because it's what keeps us behind, most of us. Thank you so much.
All right. Scaling is a good question, and maybe to also shorten it, apart from money, probably any other thing that young people can start with to scale, because sometimes it's not just about the money.
Yeah.
So I really think, Donna, you can also answer that scaling because of how far wide you've gone. But of course, yes, they had asked you the question. Yes. I think let's start answering as we get the next one. Do you want to take the scaling question first? How? Yes. He had actually said to Nantongo. Yeah. Gentlemen, do you still have the microphone? They wanted to know your name.
Yeah.
Are you Saul?
Hello.
My name is Saul Muganga Semwanga, Rihanna Diaries.
Okay, what business do you do?
I deal with milk products, that is milk dairies.
Diaries.
Actually, I want to make a little clarification. It's not all about money, but like in my business, in order to expand, I might need a large piece of land accompanied by maybe heifers in order to start producing my own milk, to maintain the quality. But to have all that, I'll need capital, of course. So how do we?
Saul, where do you get the milk for now? It's not from your own cows.
Yes. Okay. I cannot rely on suppliers from the village. Actually, I operate in Luwelo, and we get this milk from Kafu and so on, very far. But in order to keep the business moving, as me, I try to come up how best I can solve my problems, to brand my product so that the people will like it.
Is it a bit clear now?
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
if I may ask, do you make profit?
I do make my profits.
Yeah.
But when I say to make all this and I calculate my profits, it will take me years to fulfill my dream.
That's what I was telling you, that guys starting business these days, they want to do it like as fast as possible. I told you our business is a process. You cannot start a business, a small business, and then you borrow money. Because money in Uganda, money is very expensive in Uganda.
Yeah, interest rate is
You just have to, you must have a very, very good cash flow for you to be able to pay the loan. Otherwise, you'll be working for the bank. I told you, and I'll never ever lie about it, I started with $150. What I did was to, of course, you live within that small budget you have, you make margins, you do it again and again and again. Why do you think of buying land and buying trucks and I don't know what if you're making margins now? Why don't you give yourself some time, maybe a year or two, whatever it is, you build your working capital. If you're making margins, yeah. The thing with a business is, are you making margins? If you're making margins, you'll save money, you'll get money. It takes some time. When I was in the bus, there are guys who are bringing goods on trailers and train and all that. I had a few cartons here and there, but what I did was, I did it like, I told you, I did it like twice a week in Nairobi coming back. So if you're buying milk from Ruwelo and you're able to sell it, you have the market, somebody else, because you know there are so many things. If you want to do cows, my friend here Donna, she has a farm. I don't know nothing about farming, but it's a different game now. Farming is a different business. You know, you're now thinking about milk, you're thinking about buying a truck, you're thinking about having cows. Those are three different businesses. And you must have working capital for all the three businesses. So my advice to you would be, sell the milk. If you're making money, do it again and again and again and again, accumulate some money, and then I think that helps. I think I've answered your question. Do not borrow bank money. I'm sorry, bankers here, but money here is very, very expensive. When you look at the percentage the bank gives you and the margins you're going to make on selling milk, or if you want to have a farm, I don't know what you get milk from there. How long is it going to take you? How much money will you pay in that period? And you know, it's you find that you find yourself working for the bank. Actually, for me, I never borrowed the money until a few years ago. Just few years ago, I think 6-7 years ago, when the business had really grown. I never borrowed money. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think Flavia was asking me to add on that. Sol, I happen to be in agriculture, and dairy is one of our value chains. I know that land is one of the factors of production that is expensive and difficult to acquire when you are still putting together your working capital. But since you're already in aggregation, the thing that you should concern yourself right now with is how do you increase your profitability by aggregating other farmers' milk, because farmers lack market. They are experiencing low gate prices. So you have an advantage and you can just operate in the value chain system without necessarily going into the production at a large scale, and you can still so that you can be able to buy from them. And then you look at pasture improvement so that you can do more of shade feeding instead of free-range cows. You can put them under a house and feed them more, and they give you more milk. You can look at improving your collection centers so that now DDA can support you to give you equipment to set up many collection centers, and you have a lot of milk to now sell to the processors, the people that are packing milk. But off the platform, you can look me up and we can continue with this conversation so that Flavia does not have a heart attack on the podium.
Thank you. Thank you. But, so do you see the value in asking a question that's about you? Don't give a generic front. Me, I am having this issue this way in my business, then you assisted that way heavily. Next, whoever has the microphone, please. I don't know where it is. So
yes, hello. I'm here.
Left, right. I'm shutter blind.
Yeah.
There, yes.
Yeah, I'm by names of Joshua, and I'm a student at King Caesar University.
Yes.
And I am looking forward to launch a business called Joshua Technologies.
Okay.
Joshua Technologies.
Yes.
So the business is going to be dealing in phone accessories, phones, bags, and these premium things. So, and I'm looking forward to actually, I've already created an account and registering it. I'm just remaining with where to station it and the proof of registration, and everything is about to be finished. And my question is, how can a person collaborate with these, let's say, NGOs, collaborate with the people who can find that person? Then another question is, okay, thank you.
So if I'm to get him, his question was on partnerships. How do you get people or organizations that you can collaborate with to grow?
To invest in your business.
To invest in your business, okay. I still don't know. Please specify who the question is for. Oh, yes.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Johnson Tusime on the microphone. I'm a co-founder of the Seaboil, and I have a quick one for the chairman. How do you penetrate a market that's not familiar with a product that you want to sell? Thank you.
How do you?
How do you penetrate a market that's not familiar with a product you want to sell?
What is the product you sell?
Seaboil.
Chairman, are you familiar with Seaboil?
Seaboil, we're looking at crabs, lobsters, octopus. So
Rachel?
basically, how do you penetrate a market that is not familiar with a product that you want to sell? Thank you.
So, Seaboil, seafood. Hey, please, his business is seafood. Crab, octopus, what else?
Lobster.
Lobster, yeah. And chairman, you know these things.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. So, with any market, you have to have knowledge. Yes? And before you enter a market, you have to do your market survey. Now, in your particular market, if you're trying to enter this market and you're saying people are not familiar, I think you're wrong. Because, number one, people are familiar with lobsters and seafood. So it's about getting as much knowledge. You're very lucky. One of the things about seafood is that it's completely tax-free. So that's an easy entry to market for you. Yeah, because of the nature of seafood in Uganda, when it lands, it just comes out of the airport and there's no taxes on it. So the fact is, the people that are out there that do eat the seafood, now you have to market yourself and tell people how fresh it is, why they should choose you, because we're a landlocked country. So you have to work on your marketing, and also your market knowledge. I think that's the two areas you need to really work on.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Chairman. He's saying that you have a good product, you're just talking to the wrong people. Beryl is here, Anita Beryl. She's a lover of seafood. Helena is over there. Yeah, some salmon. Crab, sorry. Lucy is also here. So you have 3 clients so far, plus Chairman 4. I wanted Georgette to also comment, because her business, I don't know if you're paying any attention, even what she was trying to do and I visited, you're also one of those people who has to speak to a specific group of people. Or
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Thank you so much for your question, and that's very interesting, because what your market is a very niche market, meaning you're not looking at like 10 million people or 20 million people. You're not doing FMCG, right? And one of the things we've noticed in Wazi, because we also, on top of just producing prescription glasses, we also do custom made. So you can come to Wazi, and Flavia has been to Wazi and we've taken her through the experience. You can come and we design for you your frames. We measure you, and your frames will be fit to your facial features. But on top of that, one of the things we've also begun to do is to get cow horn and actually turn cow horn into cow horn frames. And that's a very niche market. We've sold a couple of frames in Uganda, but we've also sold a couple of frames outside Uganda. And we realized that to market our cow horn frame, we have to tell the story. And I'll tell you something about cow horn. Now, cow horn is a living organism, right? And every single cow horn is like a fingerprint, right? So if I make you frames from a cow horn, you'll be the only one in the world with your frames. So that's a story that we tell when we are going out, when we're getting distributors in North America and in Europe. We say, listen, when your clients buy this frame, nobody else in the world will have this frame. So we really sell the unique value proposition. Yeah.
All right. That's clear. Yes.
Sorry. Just to ask, your business model, is it a delivery service? Is it a restaurant you own? How are you?
Sea oil.
At the moment, we are operating online. We're looking at if the market grows with time, then we can be able to establish premises. But at the moment, we are operating online. People placing orders, then we can be able to deliver.
Yeah. So I think the first step is great. You have an online presence. The second step is who is going to market your product for you. You're looking at foodies. You're looking at people that have the knowledge about a seafood boil and how to consume it, right? So it's not that there's no one in the market that understands it. They're there. It's just how do you identify with them, and how do you to translate.
Actually, you're right, because in the moment, that's what we are doing. Recently, Flavia was actually advertising for us. Yeah, we're doing a step.
Seafood. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so I know our lunch session is ready. So should we have 2 more questions? Yes. But they said this side, Cecilia,
Hello.
that the microphones are not getting this side.
Good afternoon. My name is Nakandi Penina, the founder of PIB Uganda, that is Persons with Disabilities in Business Uganda. So our business is a category which leaves no one behind. My question goes to Madam Anita. Thanks for having the fashion in you. So how inclusive are you when it comes to fashion, whereby persons with different categories of disabilities also need unique design, where we don't need to adjust our attires? But what I've found out in the business today, that the language of communication when it comes to designs, like the tailors around, they are exclusive. So my question is, how readily can we partner with you to see that inclusivity fashion in our country can also scale up, that you can also add into our customers? Wrapping up, Madam Lucy Bunya, the creative industry. So most youth with disabilities into this, they've got the creativity to act, but we are branded because of the disability, but not the ability we have when it comes to payment. So how can you help us so that that resilience into act cannot be blended into that category? Thank you.
Hey, Nakandi, I'm so happy to see you, and really privileged that you're here in the first place. Well done for what you're doing. I for one, really, I do stand with you. We have had, I mean, what I work in and what I do is customizing a lot. I do evening wear, but in fashion as general, we have even had this Malengo fashion events that we used to have each year, and that we had fashion shows that were, you know, where the models were all differently abled. And that was, I think, one of the ways of us putting our foot forward and saying, hey, we're here, and we're not just here working for people that are obviously abled in a certain way, but also including people that are differently abled. It is one, if you have any plans for anything, just know that I am here for you. It is one of those I'm very passionate about. As a matter of fact, one of actually my tailors is differently abled, and I've never been one to look at how abled you are physically, but how abled are you mentally, or what can you do, what can you bring to this? So for me, that is a very big thing that I genuinely support, and I actually love. If you want to be part of that, I think it was Michelle Omamteka that was doing the Malengo fashion show. That is specifically, I think I've done it for about 4 years consecutively, and it is something that I'm so passionate about. So if you have a project, I'm willing to jump on. If you have anything at all that has any, just don't even hesitate. I'm here, and we can talk like off here. Just let's have this conversation.
Flavia, a young man called Jerry said he gave a question, and I think no one has responded to it. It was about what has Lucy in her space done to put up an efficient ecosystem for the creatives, and what policies can they leverage on as creatives to grow their business?
So I was going to answer the other lady's question first. When it comes to the film industry, typecasting, yes, is real. It happens. You could be a comedian and you're consistently typecasted as the funny character. So that is a shame, and that's something that I think we're constantly trying to break down, these stereotypes, and not typecast people. But there's different initiatives, such as Opportunities Are Here, something I recently worked on, and it was a nationwide call for those interested in the film industry. It could be script writing, it could be acting, it could be filmmaking, whatever it is, and you just had to submit and put yourself forward. and that there's definitely this avenue of the power of collaboration. Most creatives out there have a social media presence, are online and are accessible, whether it's via email, whether it's in spaces like this where you can come forward and say, look, how can we work together? This is my passion. But it's also equally important to have your own diary of work. It's important to show how you're contributing towards this pain or this difficulty that you're facing. And then that way you come together for collaboration to build on that. So I hope that kind of answers the question. There's initiatives out there. There's definitely room to consistently break down stereotypes. And I'm happy to have a conversation with you to see how, if there's something where our worlds align that we can work on together, let's do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I've also done, I think, a few things with Nuodu. And one of the things I always encourage, and this is something I do as part of my impact and giving back, is that you tell your story, especially in a world of creation. You know, you can literally change the narrative your own self. So Lucy and I and everybody, I want to give Donna a chance to, I thought we had wrapped questions. Cecilia is too generous with this microphone.
I wanted to answer.
No?
I think it is the same lady.
Yeah, but as Donna answers, we'll come back to you.
I wanted to answer a question of, there's a lady who said, how come Sophie is so successful like that, and then she's not like showy or overdressed, although I think she framed it differently, but that is the meaning I got out of it. As a person who has known Sophie for some time, I can just tell you, Sophie has to draw attention to herself. I think because she's so rich, she just assumes even if she walked out or wearing a carpet, you will love her anyway.
Sophie's like, this is why I didn't want the attention. Now you're bringing the attention. So we have to be fair. If you give that lady a chance, the lady on this table as well has had her hand up for a while. So either we close them off and we'll come back to it. Cecilia, advice? No more. Okay. So the person who has an ecosystem question, we need to answer that. So, but help me. Can you phrase it a bit better? Would you like him to break it down a bit better? It was you actually. He left a question, yes, pending, but we need to understand it a bit more to be able to answer it. And then Cecilia will join me so we can wrap.
Thank you so much. So you have talked about systems, processes, and policy. My question, I'm going to break it down by saying, what have the stakeholders and you up there in your positions of power and authority done to implement policies that would enable us monetize our creativity? We're talking about YouTube, social media. How can we monetize these platforms to benefit us? And what have other stakeholders done to push the government towards implementing these kinds of policies? I hope that makes it.
Okay, that question will not be answered by, we'll have Daniel is going to answer. You're going to get an answer. The mic is getting to the person, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, raga digi digi da. Thanks.
Thank you so much. When we talk about creativity, at Psfu, I'm the director of the creative sector, and I call the creative sector the elephant hidden in a basket. We are the greatest, and the only problem is, you heard Madame Lucy talk about where the parents began, where people have a mindset of saying the creatives do not make it. The policy, a feeling that it is not important. Now I'd like to tell you that it is very important. And I'm the chairman of NCF, which is the apex body of all associations and federations. And what we're working on right now is the amendment of the copyright law. The only problem that we have today is Parliament needs to understand that monetizing means, first of all, understanding what the person is doing. A content creator thinks in the air, and it becomes a tangible product. So right now, YouTube in Uganda has not been paying as it has is paying the other people in the continent. But after we amend the law, which I think within a month or two, we're going to have it amended. We've had engagements with the WIPO, World Intellectual Property, with ARIPO, and they're ready to help us start monetizing our works. Because most of the Ugandan content has been orphaned works. Most of the songs, the videos, the artifacts have been taken by other people somewhere in the world. We want to bring it back here. We want to bring back the backcloth. We want to bring back all the things that we've done. You've seen so many movies being taken to multi-choice. We want the TVs in Uganda to play the movies of Ugandans in Uganda, so that you can make your money. There has been a problem of what they call a private copy levy. In the other countries like Nigeria, where everyone is rich, they're rich because the machine that takes your product has no levy in Uganda. So we want to work on the private copy levy, where every fund that comes to Uganda pays a fee, which will go to the creative sector. Because this is where you lose your money. Every film, every song, every design goes for free on WhatsApp and the rest. So if we work on the private copy levy, I know everyone is going to be rich in the next generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kaziwe, and my apologies, we really have to leave it here if we are going to enjoy more of the program. And so I request that those who still have questions, please sit with them or find a way during the lunch session to walk up to whoever it is you need to talk to and pose your questions. But thank you so much for those questions. To our panelists, thank you so much, ladies. So many insights after insight after insight. Don't rush the business. Save your money. Do your homework. It's just been drop after drop after drop. I can't thank you enough for being so kind as to share what you have sweated so many years to come and share with these young people here today. So thank you again. I will invite Mr. Anzei and Ms. Kajingo to come up to the stage, and Myplex will also be joining us here, so we can thank you in a special way and also have a photo op here on the stage.
Sorry, I wanted to add one thing for the young lady who is disabled. Under Private Sector Foundation, we have a scheme with the World Bank called GROW, which is Growth and Opportunities for Women in Enterprise, where we, through banks, we give subsidized loans at a rate of about 10% now to women-led businesses. Now these loans, DFCU is one of the banks that we're working with, but we're working with 6 banks. Now these loans, when ladies pay them off well, we give them a 5% rebate, meaning that we come back and pay 5% of your loan, yes? And on 10% interest, that's half of your interest. But for disabled women, we will come back and pay 10%. So this is an opportunity that you should take advantage of, yes? I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Also for the disabled, you might want to note that our earlier speaker from Endiro actually is very committed to employing the vulnerable. That includes the people with disabilities. So PSF, you can help link you to her, but also if you can find her, that is a place that might be of interest to you. Otherwise, thank you so much, Georgette. Thank you, Miss Mariam Dagide. Thank you very much, Miss Donna Masolo. Amazing stuff there. Thank you, Anita Beryl. Thank you so much, Madame Sophie. So take your time, don't rush, young people. Save your money and you'll get there. Rome wasn't built in a day. And once again, thank you so much, Helena, Mayanja. You've done amazing, amazing work with these ladies. We also want to once again thank the FCU Bank for sponsoring our events. Couldn't have done this without you. And also Crown Bottlers, who are the makers of Pepsi and Mirinda products and Dew and the others. Today you can drink soda to your heart's delight. We have so much of it. And this has been brought to you by the PepsiCo. I'm also privileged to welcome one of our sponsors, Stanbic Bank, represented by Mr. Nelson Casada. Where are you? Welcome, Nelson. Thank you for investing in the young people. All right, so we are running behind time by almost an hour, and we really want to move rather smoothly through the next sessions. So we are breaking for lunch. Hallelujah. We get to have a refreshment before we go for the next and the most exciting part of this program. We're going to have titans of industry. There were people who mentioned earlier how they wanted to be hired by Roofings Group, you know, by Coca-Cola, sorry, Pepsi-Cola company. And this is your opportunity to actually hear from these people, but also learn from them. More importantly, learn from them. And that's the session you're going to have in the afternoon, crowning it with our keynote speaker, Mr. Vusi Tembekwayo from South Africa. I can't imagine what kind of excitement you have, because what I'm going through myself is hard to keep down, but I hope you're looking forward to that session. Right now we are going for lunch, and we are going to do that in phases. We're going to do that in phases so that we don't have a build-up of traffic. And our lunch is going to take place upstairs. You just exit through the main entrance to this hall, and then take the stairs up. And out there in the gallery, you will have 2 serving stations. We also have another 2 serving stations in the Katonga Hall, which is also on the level above us. But we shall call upon you based on the color of the tags or wristbands that you're wearing. So kindly bear with us. We'll call upon you from time to time, so you can also find your way up there, and we are able to manage the traffic. Otherwise, thank you so much to all of you for listening, to those who are in this room, to those who will join us in the afternoon. We have quite a few people we're expecting to join us in the afternoon. We're expecting you. We're hoping you'll add to our excitement for the future of this country through the young people. But we also want to thank, in a special way, once again, we want to thank our sponsors, MTN, DFCU Bank, Stanbic Bank, URA, we have UBL, Pepsi Cola Company, NBS TV, we have Mukwano, we have the IFC, which is International Finance Corporation, EcoBank, Equity Bank, we have the International Credit Rating Agency, that's ICRA, we have the GROW project at PSFU, the Uganda Energy Credit Capitalization Company, Roofings Group, Centenary Bank, UNDP. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to each and every one of you for making this day possible, for your investment in young people, and most of all, for supporting the growth and development of our country. Thank you. You can continue to post on our socials. It's hashtag Psfu Nextgen. We are on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X. And please invite your friends, invite your loved ones to follow us on all those platforms, as well as to join the sessions online. We are still here for the rest of the day, and I assure you it's only going to get better from here. So thank you so much, and have a nice lunch. If you're